Whether it's this band, this soccer club, or your own German last name, I know that there are so many German words that you guys have always wanted to know the correct pronunciation of, and today's the day that you're finally gonna find out. Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Feli. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. And today I'm going to show you how to pronounce German words, names, and phrases that you've always wondered how to pronounce correctly. The reason I'm making this video is that under pretty much every single one of my YouTube videos, there's always a few comments of people asking things like, hey, my last name is German, and I've always wondered how it's pronounced correctly, or how do you pronounce this Rammstein song title? Or how do you pronounce the band Rammstein? So I figured I'd just answer all of those questions in a video for you. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I've already made videos about how to pronounce famous German brand names correctly, about German celebrity names, and even about the names of German beer breweries. So in case the word that you're looking for doesn't show up in this video, definitely make sure to check out those other videos. I'll put all the links in the info box below, because I kind of tried not to repeat too much of what I've already explained in previous videos. All of the words for today were actually suggestions by you guys, because I asked you on Instagram, TikTok, and here in the YouTube community tab which German words I should include, and you had a lot of requests, which is really cool, but I kind of had to go through and select a few, so I kind of narrowed it down to the top 40 German words, which is still a lot, but it's doable. And then I kind of organized them by category into names, music, and other words. And who knows, maybe your suggestion is part of the video too. First up, let's talk about names. We're starting with a relatively difficult one because this one has the U umlaut in it, so the letter U with the two dots on it. By the way, in case you're wondering how to pronounce all of these umlauts correctly, the U umlaut, the O umlaut, and the A umlaut, I actually made a separate video about that last year. I'll link that for you down below as well. Americans often pronounce this name Müller or something along those lines. In German, it's pronounced Müller and is a very common last name. The umlaut is relatively short here. Müller. Müller, so it's like an Ö. Müller. You might know this name from the soccer player Thomas Müller, for example. The person that revolutionized the church is called Martin Luther in German. The H is silent for us. Now, of course, there's also the famous civil rights activist Martin Luther King, where you'll basically pronounce the same name the English way with the longer U and the TH sound, Luther. But in real life, of course, many Germans often just pronounce him Martin Luther King, so more like with a German pronunciation, and Americans often pronounce him Martin Luther. And there's nothing wrong with that. Next up, we have Hans Zimmer, one of the most successful film score composers in the world. He's made the film music for The Lion King, for example, Gladiator, Inception, Pirates of the Caribbean, and many, many more. And even though most people know his name, many do not know that he's German, born in Frankfurt. In English, most people call him Hans Zimmer, so they tend to pronounce Hans with a longer A, Hans, and then Zimmer with the English Z. But in German, the A in Hans is a little bit shorter. It's Hans instead of Hans, Hans. And the Z is pronounced like a TS in German, so it's Zimmer, Hans Zimmer. Zimmer also means room, by the way, in German. Someone requested the name of Germany's former Chancellor Gerhard Schröder. He was our chancellor before Angela Merkel, and he's been in the news quite a lot recently, and his name is pronounced Gerhard Schröder. Gerhard Schröder. Das Tagebuch der Anne Frank is one of the most famous books in the world and a very important one. In English, most people pronounce her Anne Frank. In German, we say Anne Frank. Anne Frank. Now, the next three names of significant historical figures from Germany I have actually mentioned in my celebrity video before, but because they've been requested again, I'm just gonna repeat them briefly. So we got Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. The OE technically equals the O umlaut, so that's how it's pronounced, Ö, Goethe. We got Ludwig van Beethoven, Ludwig van Beethoven, and we have the genius Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein. The EI letter combination is always pronounced I in German, and the S before the T makes it sound like a sh, so it's Einstein. Stein. Albert Einstein. Now let's talk about a few of your guys' German last names that you're not quite sure how they're pronounced in German. We got Elsner, spelled like this, Elsner, which I think is rather straightforward. Elsner. We got Visa. Now the letter combination of IE is the exact opposite as in Einstein. IE is always pronounced E in German, and the German W is pronounced like in English V. So it's Visa. Visa. Then we have Lehmann, and I think the most difficult part of this is the E sound, because this can be really tricky to say for English native speakers. It's kind of like in my name, Feli, and most English native speakers struggle with this. Feli, and the sound is almost like if you're talking about a restaurant, for example, that was only average, and someone asks you, how was it? And you say, eh. That's kind of the sound that is. And then the H in Lehmann is silent. So we have Lehmann. This is also the name of the former goalkeeper of the German national soccer team, by the way, Jens Lehmann. This one has a lot going on. The SCH is pronounced like the English SH, so sh. The A umlaut is pronounced the Z is pronounced like a TS again, and the R in the end is pretty much silent. We kind of say it more like an A sound in the end. So altogether, that makes this name pronounced Schelzer. Schelzer. Okay, I feel like you really gave me some tough ones here. This one would be pronounced Stürzel. The S is pronounced like a sh here again because it's in front of a T. The R is relatively silent again, and the U umlaut is short again, kind of like in Müller. So it would be Stürzel. Stürzel. And another one with an umlaut, this time with the O umlaut, is this one, pronounced Höpke. Höpke. Again, the umlaut is pronounced relatively short here, or at least that's what I would assume. Of course, names are always a thing, like everyone can kind of decide how their name is pronounced, but that's what my German intuition would tell me if I just read this word without knowing how the person actually pronounces this word. I would say Höpke instead of Höpke, so make it short, Höpke. I also got a few requests for things that I would classify as Eigennamen in German, so basically names of things or brands, and one of those was Der Eisendrache, which, from what I understand, is a zombie map for the game Call of Duty. It literally means ice dragon. Der Eisendrache. Der Eisendrache. Then I guess there are some fans of Formula 1 among my viewers, Formel 1, who requested Nürburgring. Nürburgring, which is a huge racetrack or motorsport complex that includes the Nordschleife, the North Loop, and the Südschleife, the South Loop, Südschleife. So we got Nürburgring, Nordschleife, and Südschleife. And then there were also some German soccer clubs in the requests, but of course these are just a few of many soccer clubs that we have in Germany. But in the requests we had Borussia Mönchengladbach, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Bayer Leverkusen, Bayer Leverkusen, then from my hometown, FC Bayern München, FC Bayern München, and their biggest rival, Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund. Now, colloquially, these are often also just referred to as Mönchengladbach, Leverkusen, FC Bayern, and Dortmund, or the last one also sometimes just Borussia. And Borussia is actually the Latin translation for Prussia, so for Preußen. That's why you'll find that in some soccer club names. The next category we'll go through is music, because you guys asked me about different German artists and bands and song titles, which I think is really cool that so many of you seem to listen to German music, whether you understand it or not. I did get a little glimpse into which artists and bands you guys like from the request for this video, but maybe those were also just the bands with the most difficult names, so I'd actually be interested to hear which German musicians you guys listen to. Let me know in the comments below. And in case you're still looking for the perfect way to listen to your favorite music while you're on the go, working out, making food, whatever it is you do throughout the day, let me introduce you to the Everyday Earbuds by Raycon. You guys know that I've been using them for over a year now, and I absolutely love them because you get high quality audio, but they're so much more affordable than other brands, only about half the price. Plus, they actually fit into my ears, which has been a huge struggle my whole life because my ears are really small, but these are designed to fit into the curvature of your ear. You can kind of see that here, and this just works so much better for me. They don't have any parts sticking out, but are flush with your face. And they come with 5 different sizes of optimized gel tips, which honestly makes all the difference. I have the smallest size on, and with those, they just sit perfectly. They don't fall out, they don't move, and even after wearing them for hours or even falling asleep with them, they don't hurt. This is the case that comes with them. You can get them in 4 different colors, by the way, and you just put them in, kind of rotate them back like this, and then you can control pretty much everything with the built-in buttons. You can adjust your volume, for example. Tapping the right one turns it up, the left one turns it down. Tapping twice is pause and play. Tapping 3 times on the right side will get you to the next song, or 3 times on the left side to the previous song, and 4 times will activate your voice assistant, such as Siri. You can also answer incoming calls with the buttons, or reject them, which is also very important. And of course, with the built-in mic, you can actually have that phone call with your Raycons. And you can switch between different sound profiles and modes. So if you hold the left button for 3 seconds, you can toggle between the 3 sound profiles: pure sound, balanced sound, and bass sound. And if you hold the right one for 3 seconds, you can switch between the noise isolation and the awareness mode. I usually have the awareness mode on, especially when I'm outside or at the store or something, because I personally don't like it when I can't hear my surroundings at all anymore. I used to take one earbud out of my ears before I had my Raycons. Now I can just leave both of them in and I can still hear what's happening around me. But if you're in a situation where you want it to be just you and your music or your podcast, then you can simply turn on the noise isolation. If you want to try the Raycon Everyday Earbuds yourself, Raycon gave me a discount for all of my viewers. All you have to do is click that link in the info box below or go to buyraycon.com/Feli from Germany and you'll get 15% off your purchase. Okay, so of course we had some requests for Rammstein song titles, and first of all, I think I have to clarify that the band is pronounced Rammstein. So as I said earlier, the EI letter combination is always pronounced I in German. So it's not Ramstein or anything like that, which is something that I hear quite a lot in the US. And of course, the S in Stein is pronounced like a sh again because it's in front of a T, the same as in Einstein, Rammstein. Then here are the songs that you guys asked about. This song title is pronounced Du hast, you have, Du hast. This one is Ich will, which means I want to, or also I do in a marriage proposal. And then someone wanted to know how to pronounce their album Sehnsucht, which can be translated with longing or yearning or desire. It's pronounced Sehnsucht. Sehnsucht. The H is silent again. This composition by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is called Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Eine kleine Nachtmusik, which translates to a little night music. And staying classical, this piano sonata is called Mondscheinsonate. Mondscheinsonate, Moonlight Sonata, and of course it was written by Ludwig van Beethoven. Then, not surprisingly, I got asked about this huge hit by the artist Nena. In English, it's called 99 Red Balloons. In the German original, the color red actually isn't mentioned at all. It's 99 Luftballons. We usually refer to a balloon like this one as an air balloon, Luftballon, or often colloquially also pronounced as Luftballon. And then we have a German legend. She was a singer and an actress, Marlene Dietrich, with the tricky German CH sound at the end. Marlene Dietrich. This one is pronounced in the back of your throat. A few other bands that you guys requested were Heilung, an experimental folk music band according to the internet, and Heilung actually means healing. Then we had Erste Allgemeine Verunsicherung. Erste Allgemeine Verunsicherung, which was a band from Austria, and this translates to something like First General Uncertainty or First General Insecurity. Then someone requested Fersengold, a folk and neo-medieval band apparently. And this one is a little bit tricky to translate because if you just heard the word, you would probably assume that it means heel gold, so heel as in the back of your foot. But heel in German, die Ferse, is actually spelled with an F and not with a V. There is a word with V, der Vers, which means verse or a line in a song or a poem, for example, but it's not Versen. So I'm not quite sure if this is just a wordplay or what this is supposed to mean exactly, but this is what I can tell you for now. It's probably pronounced Fersengold. And last but not least, we have the widely successful German electro band Kraftwerk. Kraftwerk. So it sounds a little bit harsh, Kraftwerk, and Kraftwerk literally means power plant. Now let's get to a few more general words, and the first of those is Gesundheit, which is actually a word that many Americans use kind of in a joking way, which was something that was totally surprising to me when I first came here, because I just didn't realize that the word Gesundheit was used in other countries and other languages, but it's what Germans say when someone sneezes. So it's our version of bless you, but it literally means health. So we wish the other person health. Gesundheit. This was probably the most requested word this time, Dankeschön, which means thank you. I know that there's an American song called Dankeschön where it's pronounced more like Dankeschön.
Dankeschön, darling, Dankeschön. I wanna thank you for walks down Lover's Lane.
But for the O umlaut, you usually round your lips a little bit more. So instead of saying Dankeschön, it's Dankeschön. Dankeschön. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you can technically also just use the short form and just say Danke. This next one is a very relevant phrase in German culture because it's kind of like the German equivalent of British tea time. Coffee and cake is Kaffee und Kuchen. Kaffee und Kuchen. The CH in Kuchen is pronounced more in the back of your throat. Kaffee und Kuchen. Okay, so of course, a lot of people wanted me to teach the pronunciation of some of these insanely long German words, like this one, for example, that we don't actually use in our everyday language. And we're not gonna do that in this video, but I will settle for this word, which is also relatively long, but it's one that we actually use. Geschwindigkeitsbegrenzung, which means speed limit. Geschwindigkeits, speed, Begrenzung, limit. Geschwindigkeitsbegrenzung. Many people also simply refer to it as tempo limit though, which is much easier to say and it means the exact same thing. Next up, we have a classic. The crazy thing is that this word is not only difficult to pronounce in German, but also in English and in French, and possibly in other languages as well. In German, it's Eichhörnchen, in English, squirrel, and in French, écureuil, I think. Eichhörnchen is definitely a tricky word because it has an umlaut and a couple CH sounds. And in this word, the CH is actually pronounced more in the front. So it's kind of like in the word humid. If you kind of overdo it, humid, humid. And then you say Eichhörnchen, Eichhörnchen. This is a word that I mentioned in my video about German words that Americans use all the time, and it's pronounced Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. If you want to know what it means, you're gonna have to check out this video, but I can tell you that it's a very unique word that we have in German that doesn't really have an equivalent in English. It's kind of a running gag when tourists say that throughout their road trip in Germany, they were very surprised that we had so many towns with the name Ausfahrt. Now, of course, that's complete nonsense. In reality, Ausfahrt means exit, specifically on the road. So it literally means out drive. The exit of a building would be an Ausgang, an out walk. This one is pronounced Ausfahrt. Ausfahrt. Another German word that has to do with fahren, to drive, and one that many Americans know for some reason is Fahrvergnügen, the joy of driving. The German V is pronounced like an F here and the H is silent again. Fahrvergnügen. I've mentioned this in another video that the word Fräulein isn't actually used anymore in the German language today. It used to be the equivalent of Frau for unmarried women, but it was banned from official use about 50 years ago. It was a pretty controversial debate at the time, but if you know German, you probably know that the ending lein is used to describe the small version of something, just like the ending chen. So Fräulein is simply the diminutive form of the the word Frau, which means woman. So it kind of suggests that the person isn't a full woman yet. So maybe you kind of understand why many people thought that the term was problematic. Nowadays, you just use Frau plus last name to address all women, whether they're married or not. Fräulein is of course still used in historical contexts and in movies, and also ironically sometimes in certain contexts. And to get back to its pronunciation, the A umlaut U diphthong is pronounced oi, like in toy, and the EI is pronounced I again, so it's Fräulein. Fräulein. This is probably Germany's most famous castle and the inspiration for Disney's Cinderella castle, Schloss Neuschwanstein. Neuschwanstein. The EU diphthong is pronounced the exact same as the A umlaut U, as in Fräulein, so it's Oi, Neuschwanstein. Literally, New Swanstone. Located in Bavaria, about 1.5 hours from Munich. Last but not least, I was asked about how the number 6 is pronounced in German and how you can tell the difference to this word. So the number 6 is called Sechs in German, and Sex is called Sex. And honestly, most Germans would probably say that these two are the exact same pronunciation, but if you're super nitpicky, there is actually a small difference here because the number Sechs is officially pronounced with a voiced S, so like a Z sound in English, Z, Sechs, while sex with an X is usually pronounced with a voiceless S in German. Sex, just like it is in English. However, this is a difference that most Germans don't even hear, to be honest. It's not something that German ears are very sensitive to, and in some regional dialects, they don't follow this rule, if you want to call it that, at all anyways. So most of the time, we just know the difference by context. I hope that helps. Okay, so that was actually a lot of words, and this was really just a small selection of the words that you guys requested. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I could turn this into a TikTok / Instagram Reel / YouTube short series where I kind of explain one word at a time in a short 1 minute long video. I don't know, what do you think? Would you want to see that? Maybe make it kind of like an interactive series? Let me know in the comments, and if you're interested in learning German pronunciation in general, the nonprofit organization Link EUS is offering a free German trial class tomorrow on August 21st via Zoom, where you'll learn all the basics about the German alphabet and its sounds, and honestly with that knowledge you'll be able to pronounce pretty much every German word correctly because our phonetics are relatively consistent, so even without knowing what the word means, you'll be able to pronounce it correctly. One of the co-founders there is actually German herself, and they're all super cool, so check it out for free tomorrow if you're interested, and if you decide to sign up for a full course with them, you can even get $60 off with my code Feli60. And if you like what I do here on my channel, don't forget to subscribe for free. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And if you want to support my channel, you're very welcome to do so on patreon.com/Feli from Germany, or leave a tip with the super thanks button underneath the video, or on ko-fi.com/Feli from Germany. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your support, and I hope I'll see you next time. Tschüss!